Hello everyone, so it's Hannah here again from Blue Ferret Boarding with one of the Cheppers. This is actually Chilli I've currently got. So today I thought we'd look at clipping nails and how best to clip nails and how we go about it. We usually use bribery. As with most things with ferrets, bribery is the way forward. So things you need other than your ferret, the long nails, are bribe, juice or whatever, and your clippers. So I bought these clippers a while back. I'm sorry, I'm looking into the sun currently. But I found those. Hang on, I just need to bribe a ferret while we're here. Whoa, look, shiny. There we go. I find these a bit cumbersome to be able to see exactly where I'm cutting. So I actually prefer these, which are designed for humans, but I just find them much more easy to use. So firstly, you can use whatever bribe of your choice. You can use a bit of malt paste, or you can use our Northeast Ferret Trust's WD oil, and you can also get it in this lovely little bottle, which is great for travelling. So we have it here. So firstly, I'm going to bribe the ferret with just oil on his tummy, quite a bit, because you need a little bit of time to do this. So now these guys are very used to having their claws clipped, and so they're fine with it and they hardly flinch. A ferret not used to having their claws clipped even might squirm, might flinch a little bit. You just need to be firm with them. As long as you're comfortable and confident with what you're doing, don't worry about the ferret, they'll get used to it. One of my little girls used to scream the house down as though I was literally trying to chop her head off the first few times I did it, but now she's absolutely fine. So they will get used to it once they realise what you're doing and realise that it's not going to hurt them. And what I'm looking to do is, if you can see there, the cuticle runs to there where the blade currently is. That's the pink of the cuticle. I don't want to cut that far up. I want to cut just below that so that it doesn't bleed. Clunk. A good single confident stroke rather than half cutting it and then pulling their paw back and making a bit of a mess, because that can upset them a little bit. So again, you can see where that cuticle is there. It's here. Be aware with these clippers of not catching this little pad here on the edge. So if you're going this far, you can sometimes, if you get that, you can catch their paw. And also the other thing you can do is you can sometimes catch, if you go clunk and pull at the same time, and if you've got some fur in there, it'll pull their fur, which will also cause them to have a squeal, because clearly you're trying to kill them. So again, just clunk down and then out. Clunk down and then out. So you can see they're quite thick, these babies, because they're getting on a bit. So we'll do one more. Actually, we'll do a few more. There's a one and there's a one there. So you've been doing this, you're getting used to it, your ferret's getting used to it. You clip too close, you clip and it's too far in, and you actually clip into the cuticle. You start getting a little bit of spot of blood, your ferret starts getting very upset by the whole thing and squealing, and you're feeling terrible ferret. What do? I always have a little bit of, doesn't need to be self-raising, I don't believe the raising agent is particularly of use here. I always use a little bit of flour, and I have that in my little kit of tricks. So I literally will just dunk their paw either in here, or I'll grab a small amount of flour on my fingers and just tap the flour in, and that basically just acts as a sort of a quick coagulant to stop the bleed. The other thing is, you want to, if you can, put your ferret back in the cage at that point, because you don't want to encourage the bleeding. And if you leave your ferret out, they're going to keep moving a lot. If they're moving a lot, their blood's going to be circulating faster, which means it's going to want to bleed more. So really, if you can, pop your ferret back in the cage at that point, and it'll just mean that they just fall asleep, and it'll just help the bleed not be as bad. And then I often do it just before playtime as well, because that way they then go out, play on the concrete, and it just takes the rough edges off so that they don't scratch themselves or somebody else. It's important that you keep their nails cut reasonably, because if they're too long, they can catch in bedding and they can rip them off. Back when these guys weren't domesticated, so over 1,000 years ago, when they were part of the polecat family, they would have used those claws for digging. They don't need to now, and yes, they love digging, but that doesn't mean they need their claws, and too much of a claw cut in can actually hurt them and isn't good for them. So do make sure you keep their nails cut regularly. It'll keep the quick short, and I'll keep you with a happy ferret that isn't getting things caught on their belly.